cancel culture. The right is very fond of accusing the left of cancel culture. That is, canceling out opinions that aren't politically correct. In fact, there's a hell of a lot more cancel culture on the right than anything that the left could dream of. One only has to look at the state of Florida and its governor, Ron DeSantis, which virtually invades schools, school libraries, says what you can teach, what you can't teach, and the movement generally on the right to make sure that American history is taught in an extremely false way. And deep down, that's because they're chicken, they're yellow, they're afraid to teach American history in all of its aspects, the not so good as well as the good. Okay? So it is really the right who is enacting in state legislatures, in states, on the right, cancel culture. However, I do agree in one area, not all universities, but many universities, and some of the most famous ones, tend very much to be left-oriented. And sometimes there have been occasions where students in those universities have prevented right-wing speakers from coming. And this I do not agree with. I do not agree with it on civil liberties grounds. I think that as long as somebody's speech is not directly threatening, there's nothing in a free speech atmosphere that says that all free speech has to be polite, kind, and compassionate. I think, for example, I just give an example of Michael Knowles, who is a very fast-talking, smooth-smiling, knowledgeable, so-called young American for freedom. Read Young American Fascist, if you're honest about it. And he attacked Greta Thunberg and attacked her on the basis of her handicap. And he attacked her for her handicap and refused to apologize, even when Fox News said that he should apologize. In other words, behind his smooth smile and fast talking, Mr. Knowles is a snarky little prick. And but Mr. Knowles has not ever directly made threats. He's come on the borderline sometimes, like saying he'd like to eradicate the notion of non-binary sex. But he hasn't directly made threats, and therefore even a snarky prick has the right to speak. And if the snarky prick is invited on the campus for whatever crazy reason, he or she needs to be treated in the manner of free speech. Now, there's a second reason why I think that this is important, and that is that the left is shooting itself in its foot because it makes martyrs of these people. You see, the right can say, aha, look at Ottawa, where they wouldn't let Ann Coulter in a particular period. I can't remember when. I think it was the University of Ottawa. They wouldn't let her speak. And one of the directors of the campus said, we could find a lot better speakers than her. That isn't the point. It's not your right to say who the speaker should be and who they shouldn't be. It's not my right to say who the speaker should be and who they shouldn't be. If a speaker is invited, whatever his or her tendency, you're making martyrs out of them and playing into the hands of the right, who will say, see, you don't allow for free speech. But I go back to the basics. I'm a civil libertarian. I don't think what's happened now, that threats are under the guise of free speech. That I don't agree with. But the basic principle is, whether it was rightly or wrongly attributed to the French philosopher Voltaire, I may not like what you say, but I will fight for your right to say it. And I think on those grounds, I do think that the right has a point, particularly and almost solely concerning certain universities, and not as a general rule, where cancel culture is far more predominant on the right than on the left. But I give on this specific point, I think that I have to say, I think that the right is right